got married to Thaina, and she's from Brazil. And I wrote um, the most amazing letter I have ever written today. Um, Planned Parenthood, 3825 Wolverine Street, Northeast Salem, Oregon, 97305. The Unborn Victims Act, the Unborn Victims of Violence Act of 2004, Public Law 108, 2021, is a United States law that recognizes an embryo or fetus in utero as a legal victim if they are injured or killed during the commission of any over 60 listed federal crimes of violence. The law defines child in utero as a member of the species Homo sapien at any stage of development who is carried in the womb. Unborn Victims Act of 2004, nicknamed Lacey and Connor's Law, states that an embryo states that an in utero human being, an embryo, a fetus, as legal victims of violence, punishable by law, felony, conviction, and significant fines. If an embryo or fetus are killed or injured during the commission of a crime, not applying those seeking or performing legal abortion. Legal is the key here. I might have heard a late term abortion past 26 weeks, making it definitely a crime. I was at the 40-day March for Life outside Planned Parenthood where I heard a baby cry. Must have been born alive, then bled out because no ambulance was called. Then later, a woman came out with a badge and a red bag, infant size, like a purse, marked as medical waste. I witnessed the doctor arriving before I heard the baby cry, wearing a tie-dye sweatshirt, brown wavy hair. Other days that I've been marching, praying, I saw him arrive with some sweatshirt driving in a red car, license plate, with a definitely underage girl that used his car for base after taking first pain pills before procedure. I saw lots of vehicles driving girls in and out by grown men who have no right being around underage girls, especially if drugs are involved. Lots of pimps and fancy cars, but mostly same vehicle driven by staff, hiring, driven by staff bringing girls in. It's like the doctor was spag, sort of flirting with these girls. That I'm sure he underplayed the course of action they were going to take, and so close to the high school. If a father found out that an abortion doctor drove her to get her appointment, sounds bad, like kidnapping, especially since outcome will be a dead grandchild, which is the ultimate child abuse. I also witnessed an underage teen considering not getting an abortion, but her mom irate, and so she went through with it. Then the mom rolled her window down on her way out and said, "Say one more word. I don't care. I will go to jail today. I swear to God." She was threatening to kill me with her white SUV. Her daughter passed out, glazed eyes in front seat. Doesn't really seem like justice for her or her baby. Pimps, men, women, pimps demanding they get the abortion. Planned Parenthood getting repeated business. Girls on the street. Oh, and the pills they get for the aftercare. I bet their pimps and drug addict moms get those pills, pain pills, because they are highly sought out pills. Grandparents have rights. Our children are our ticket to the promised land. Abortion is entirely ageist against the very young and the most vulnerable and the very old. Grandparents need their grandchildren, their zeal for life, giving them purpose and will to live. Now that Roe versus Wade is overturned, abortion is not a woman's issue, it's a human rights issue. The right to be born, to have the womb be a safe place again. Unborn Victims of Violence Act of 2004. The law is codified in two sections of the United States Code, Title 18, Chapter 1, Crimes, SS 1841, 18 USC 1841, and Title 10, Chapter 22, Uniform Code of Military Justice. SS 918A, Article 119A, the law applies only to certain offenses over which the United States government has jurisdiction, including certain crimes committed on federal properties against certain federal officials and employees by members of the military. In addition, it covers certain crimes that are defined by statute as federal offenses wherever they occur, no matter who commits them, such as certain crimes of terrorism, because of principles of federalism embodied in the United States Constitution. Federal criminal law does not apply to crimes prosecuted by the individual U.S. states, although 38 states also recognize the fetus or unborn child as a crime victim, at least for purposes of homicide or feticide. The legislation was both held and vilified by various legal observers who interpreted the measure as a step towards granting legal personhood to human fetuses, even though the bill explicitly contained a provision accepting abortion, stating that the bill would not be construed to permit the prosecution of any person for conduct relating to an abortion for which the consent of the pregnant woman or a person authorized by law to act on her behalf, of any person for any medical treatment of the pregnant woman, of her unborn child, or of any woman with respect to her unborn child, or of any woman with respect to her unborn child, the reticence of federal law to authorize federal prosecution of a particular act committed under federal jurisdiction does not prevent states from passing their own laws against the act committed under their jurisdiction. Meanwhile, the definition of all unborn babies as members of the species Homo sapiens in Section D says what proposed personhood laws say. Sponsors of such proposals say such legal languages will trigger the collapse clause in Roe versus Wade by establishing what they suggest Roe said must be established for legal abortion to end. Several state Supreme Courts have ruled that Section A through C are not threatened by Roe, but no court has addressed whether Roe can survive the suggested triggering of its collapse clause by Section D. The bill contained the alternate title of Lacey and Connor's Law. The California mother, Lacey Peterson, and fetus, Connor Peterson, whose deaths were widely publicized during the later stages of the congressional debate on the bill in 2003 and 2004. Husband Scott Peterson was convicted of double homicide. The bill contained the alternate title of Lacey and Connor's Law after the California mother, Lacey Peterson, and fetus, Connor Peterson, whose deaths were widely publicized during the later stages of the congressional debate on the bill in 2003 and 2004. Husband Scott Peterson was convicted of double homicide under California fetal homicide law, signed into law by President George W. Bush on April 1st, 2004. Contended for the lives of the unborn, Jesus. Curse lifted, head of the snake crushed. Abortion ends. Pregnancy is not a disease. Abortion is an unmedically necessary procedure. Abortion is a human rights violation. Every human being has the right to be born. Let the church say amen, as Andre Crouch sang. It is finished. Wednesday, 7/24, October 12th, 2022. I said, I'm coming for my perfect, spotless bride. Jesus' birthday is October 12th, 2022. You must be born again. No longer male, female, Jew, Gentile, but one, united. One good decision after another. Let's build each other up. No bitter words, united in love, as Jesus said. Above all, love God, your neighbor as yourself. In that we fulfill the law and the prophets. God said, I did what I did for the glory of love. Signed, S.J.C. Sonia J. Chastain.